tetapi di UK parti tak boleh nak saman, PAS tak boleh dia saman. Jadi Hadi yang saman. And dia saman Claire, dia bawa kes ini ke London, ke UK, di England, dia bawa ke England, dia saman Claire. But hujung dia apa yang berlaku adalah rupanya out of court settlement, Hadi kena bayar Claire. I mean, pelik kan? Okay, I mean, probably you can just tell us a little bit of background about how did this happen, and then, you know, how it end up, like, really, how did it end up? Because PAS keep on saying they won the case, you know.
Well, I'm, you know, they if they think by paying out all my legal expenses they won and running away from the case, I think you just leave it to the common sense of people. But it was a fascinating case, and I soon managed, because I'm a journalist, to get a lot of information behind the scenes. And what I know, I mean, they took nearly a year before they sued me. You know, in the UK you have to sue within a year, and they at the last minute they decided to do it. And what they did was of course, as a journalist, I'm allowed to make fair political comment. So I'm allowed to make a comment about a political party, and a political party can't sue in the UK. So they had to come up with sort of an excuse to sue. So what they did was to say, by saying that you are alleging that UMNO is paying PAS secretly as a secret political partner, and giving PAS money, that really means what you're saying is that Hadi's taking money, because he's everything in PAS. So you're accusing Hadi. So this was what they had to still prove to a London court that it was Hadi I was talking about. So that was their first big issue. We still hadn't ever, you know, the court had still not, you know, even ruled on that one. Was I talking about Hadi? I didn't mention his name. Yeah. So the next thing was, you know, were they going to be able to prove or force me to concede that they were in the opposition, they were not being secretly supporting UMNO, and they were taking no money from UMNO. So this is what they alleged. They said I was libeling Hadi by saying that UMNO and he were taking, that PAS and he were taking money from UMNO, and that they were actually, you know, they were enemies of UMNO. This is what he told the London court. So what I heard that behind the scenes, what his lawyers, his very expensive London lawyers, you know, his bill for them was 2.5 million pounds.
I mean,
so times that by five.
Let me like get back. So the lawyer's bill to Hadi was 2.5 million pounds.
That's what I estimate, or that's what my lawyers estimate that his own lawyers cost.
Wow.
Forget me, I'm on top.
Yeah.
So that, but he had reason to be cross, because I hear that when he first went to those lawyers, they said, for £200,000, that's £1 million ringgit. Yeah. You can deal with her, because it'll cost her so much to fight you, she'll give in. So what we'll do is we'll make an expensive case for Claire, and we know she has no money, so she'll give in. So we just make her life hard, and then Hadi, you can go and say, look, Claire gave in. She's a liar. Najib is innocent of 1MDB because Claire lies. You know, I could see what their game was. So they chose the wrong person to play that game with. There was no way I would give in and let down the whole of Malaysia in the run-up to GE14 by letting them play that trick. So I went and found a lawyer who was prepared to help and at least delay their bills a bit, I think. It wasn't that easy, but more importantly, I started to crowdfund. I cashed in my pension, and I damn well fought them. And their problem was that they weren't expecting to actually have to come to court because they were lying. They were getting money from UMNO, and they were secretly supporting UMNO. Yeah. And the nearer it got to the court case, the more scared they were. and I started to get little messages. Claire, should we do a deal? Claire, you know, this, that. And I said, I will do a deal if you pay my lawyer's costs. And as we got to just a few weeks of the trial date, and as I started to get more and more hard evidence of millions of ringgit being paid by UMNO to PAS, after all, they paid PAS's election deposits on all their seats, and I had proof.
Oh, great.
They came to me and said, okay, we'll pay your legal costs.
All right.
So my lawyer said, Claire, you have to be sensible, and you know, you don't go to court, just take the money. Everyone will know who won this. So I took the money, and I think most people who have got any judgment will realize that that means that Hadi and PAS were not prepared to come to court and try and pretend that they weren't friends of UMNO and that they weren't taking money from UMNO.
So they were lying all the time. They were trying to, like, I mean, I would say try to scare you in such a way. Probably this is just a small journalist who's not going to be able to, like, go with this suit and everything. But in turn, that you like literally like go all out with this, and then you finally prove to them that, you know, you have your case. And I think the bottom line here is the main reason why they pull out of this case is, number one, they were lying. They did have like a secret relationship with UMNO. That's number one. And number two, as you clearly said, that Hadi did not have a locus standi to sue you, because you were talking about PAS receiving money from UMNO and not Hadi receiving money from UMNO. I mean, this is like clearly the main case why you won this case in the first place. But they create a story in such a way that you were actually losing the money. But we, as normal civilians, we like, this is like quite a common sense. If you won the case, why do you have to pay the money in the first place? That's really odd, isn't it? I mean,
well, there's no way. If they are claiming they won the case, they're lying. The case never came to court. They ran away before it came to court. There were a few applications in court, and there were one or two. They had one or two sort of things they built up as a big success. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I was trying to make it less expensive by deciding on the locus standi to begin with, without going through the rest of the case. And the judge just said, you know, they'll appeal. It'll cost you more, he said, Claire. Just do the whole case. So, you know, I lost on that one, so we had to go for the whole case. Yeah. But it never came to court. They ran. And in fact, we all know Hadi went on the record and said it was okay in the eyes of the Lord to lie if it's for the good of him and his political party. That was his excuse. Yeah. And I'm afraid that's not what I learned in church, and I'm sure it's not what anyone learns from any religious instruction of any kind.
Yeah, I mean, that's really a lie. I mean, it's not been taught by any religion, as we know. But it's interesting that you talk about PAS receiving money, especially in the deposit. Deposit money for the seats in GE 14 just now. I mean, can you elaborate a little bit more about that? I mean, PAS receiving money from UMNO. Can you tell us a little bit more? And you said you have proof about it.
Yes, I did. I think they tried to make a lot of headway out of one remark I made, which was that some of the people in the opposition had calculated back in 2016 that Hadi, the amount of money that had gone into PAS might have amounted to some, as much as 90 million. And I made that point. So they made a lot that, I want to see that, I was supposed to show the bank records for 90 million or something to prove 90 million. That's not what I ever said. But what I could do was prove the bank records for the millions that went in from UMNO to PAS's political fund. And I know from my sources that money then went on to pay for their election deposits. The amount doesn't really become an issue when they have said that they were not receiving money from UMNO, and I proved that they were receiving millions.
Yeah, I mean, they were lying right in front of our face, saying that they did not receive any money from UMNO. But at the same time, we can prove that actually they were receiving money from UMNO. And they were like playing this game, saying like PH and Claire were lying about PAS receiving 90 million, and then even the MACC, Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, even even said that PAS did not receive 90 million from any sources, especially from UMNO. But I think that it's not about the 90 million received, whether it received by PAS or not, but the fact that they received a sum of money, probably in millions as well, and it was funded through individuals. I mean, is it correct that it was actually funded through individuals, especially leaders inside PAS?
It may have been a lot more than they received. There's such a thing as called conspicuous spending, and there's such a thing as being, cheap. And, all Najib's other allies were receiving millions and millions and millions, all their political allies. So I'd be surprised if those canny guys from PAS were allowing themselves to be bought for, too little dedak. Yeah. They would have been fools not to have taken a good sum of money from Najib. Yeah. So this is something that everyone could observe. But there's the conspicuous spending is there. And what we were able to show, and a lot of this, of course, and I had good sources talking to me about, and I won't mention names, obviously, but good sources were telling me how suitcasefuls of money were going from individuals to individuals. And sadly, we all know that that is unfortunately what goes on in Malaysia. It's something that I had to get my head around, that people literally do walk around with suitcases with money in Malaysia. And indeed, where I do have bank confirmation of millions going to PAS, what actually happened was that an UMNO executive walked in with a suitcase of money into the bank and put that money on the counter, had it counted out, and then asked for it to go into a PAS account. And in that occasion, the bank clearly asked for his details, and I managed to get copies of the details that showed who he was, and all the details of the 3.5 million in that case that went into specified PAS accounts. So, I can't prove all the suitcases of money, but, I can prove incidents like that. So, that's why Hadi could not go and stand up in front of a British judge with a straight face. He would lose.
I mean, you said that like 3.5 million in a full suitcase, it went into a specific account.
I think there were two payments. There were two payments. I'm referring to two payments. So there are two suitcases. I don't know how much you can put in one suitcase.
But it went into a specific PAS account. I mean, do you have like that PAS account specifically, or is it just like...
Yes. I've got the details.
Yeah, you got the details. But it was never being brought up in Malaysia, especially on these accounts, isn't it? I mean, was it ever been brought up by like MACC or probably the police? Or was this ever considered to be a criminal at all? I mean, was it ever being...
It was investigated. It was investigated by the MACC.
But nothing went through. I mean, it was like...
No, interesting.
Knowing Malaysia, this is how it works.